Hello, this is Fred Goldstein, and I'm at the Population Health Colloquium here in Philadelphia, and I'm joined by Kevin McCurry and Courtney Morris, both with Artifacts AI. They're two co-founders of the company. So Kevin, could you talk a little bit about your founding of Artifacts AI?
Sure. It's interesting, after having spent many years in scholarly communications, I went off to the financial services industry for a number of years, and that's where I was first exposed to blockchain. And it occurred to me one day that I thought back on my experience in academic and scholarly communications that citations really are the currency of an industry that trades in reputation. And I said to myself, well, blockchain is a perfect application for applying to currencies. So why can't we apply that to scholarly communications? And it really started from there.
You've applied blockchain to an interesting area. Why did you apply it to this?
Well, as Kevin alluded to, he became familiar with the technology and said, hey, there's an application here. I know there's a lot of froth about blockchain and is this thing real, is it not real? But what we did is we said, actually, there's some very specific problems in scholarly communications. We understand them because we've worked in the industry a long time. And we said, actually, this technology can solve a lot of those fundamental problems.
Blockchain obviously does have a lot of hype, but there are real things you can do with it. What does blockchain give you from a technological perspective that allows it to be better for this kind of data exchange?
Sure. So if you think about scholarly communications, one of the things that you want to be able to do is share your work while being able to protect your intellectual property as a researcher. It will enable that. It will allow researchers to share but have greater confidence that they can protect their IP. Second, if someone is giving attribution to someone else's work, we can capture that on a ledger and document it in a permanent, immutable way. Finally, we can do that kind of authoritative and rigorous approach by capturing everything in a permanent, immutable way, but we can do it in a distributed manner where we can actually leverage the power of the community. So we get the benefit of both worlds, which is leveraging the power of the community while getting the authority and rigor that you require for a research-based solution.
And you talked about documenting this information and putting it into the blockchain. So what sort of information goes into the system?
Well, so what we want to do is we want to make it possible for all research artifacts. So not just a published article, but everything that builds up to a published article. So data sets, posters, presentations, observations, images, anything. All of those things should be able to be linkable, findable, and citable. As Kevin mentioned earlier, researchers trade in reputation. Their reputation grows as more people look at and find their work and then say, hey, this was valuable work. Right now, that happens at the end of a very long publishing cycle and is remarkably retrospective and manual. We've been in some of the, kind of the belly of the beast of some of these things, and we see how manual it is, and it's so article focused when there's just so much other work out there that should be brought to bear. And that's even if, for instance, an experiment goes bad. There's a lot to be learned from that. But that just gets lost into the dark knowledge of science now because nobody wants to publish it. There's no incentive to share it. And so what we want to do is make that stuff findable and citable so that a reputation can grow in real time.
So could you in essence say I'm loading up my whole research around ABC as I'm studying this and moving along the process to ultimately publish it, and then say I'm going to give this individual access to this piece of data or these data sets and this other individual access to something else?
Absolutely. So, and that's where the name of the company came from, which was Artifacts, which is we want to capture all artifacts of research, not just the published article. And with blockchain, you can use smart contract functionality around your level of disclosure. Do I want to share this with the world? Do I want to share it with just a subset of individuals? Do I even want to disclose who I am? We can manage all of that in a distributed way that has no hierarchy, no centralization, but also provides all those features and benefits that researchers want in terms of being able to control their creative work.
Yeah, and I guess also not only control it, as you both mentioned, but also to track it and get a sense of what other people are looking at or doing with their work.
Yeah, if you're a young researcher and you put out a piece of work, let's say it takes you a year to do your research, it takes you another year to get published, or even a half a year, then it's going to take 6 months for a commercial abstracting and indexing service to pick that up. Then another researcher has to find that article, go through that same cycle, before they get published and it gets indexed, and then you get a citation. It could be 6 years. Fast-moving industries, that just makes no sense. It doesn't make sense in slow ones either. But so what we have enabled is the ability to build that reputational profile in real time. You can, as you said, our system allows you to put out what you want to put out. People can find it and then transact within the system. We say transact, but post on the blockchain a citation to that piece of work. And then we have the system to count it. So now it counts, it matters. Where previously there was really no upside to sharing, because your work could get misappropriated or stolen, and if somebody sent you an email that said, hey, that's great work, guess what? It doesn't count. Now there's a system to count it so that reputational profile can build.
Right, so in essence, if they never published anything off of what you did, you would never get credit for the fact that they didn't list you. You'd never get credit for that of work that you did that ultimately influenced this later research
That's
going
right.
on.
Absolutely. One thing that's important to us is we believe that if someone's going to get attribution, if there's no one there to count it, did the attribution ever really happen? And our belief is no, you need not only the attribution to happen, but you need someone behind the scenes to be able to count it.
Right, not documented, not done in essence. So this is a great way to document exactly what's happening.
It's like the statement now, if there's no photos, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, and now we're going to be catching all of those attributions so that profile can build.
So I understand you're here at the colloquium to make some announcements about your company?
Yes, we're very excited to be announcing today that the system is available. Two things actually. Our workflow system that has the blockchain technology baked into it, but then also in conjunction with the Jefferson College of Population Health, we are announcing that the Population Health Archive is also available. It's the first archive that the population health community has had to share and work as a community to collaborate. They haven't had one. Some of the other disciplines have had them. We're providing that for the population health community. And so really it's a two-part launch. We're launching the system and we're launching the archive at the same time.
So when you say the archive, is that anyone in population health who wants to publish something could begin to put information up into the system?
Yes, they can go to the site, and they don't even have to register to search and find, but register, then become part of the community. And then if you want to put up a working paper, you want to put up data sets, or you want to put up whatever, you can just do that. What the vision was is that somebody could come to a specific location and see all of the relevant research for the population health field. That has been difficult to do so far. So that's what we've tried to create. It's early. It still needs more content. We've pre-populated it a little bit, but the community hopefully can take it and really start to put a lot of their work in it. Now, if they use our platform to, as the basis for their research, then they'll be able to have the proof of attribution established on the blockchain. They'll be able to collaborate within that system, have variable sharing, and then also do that citations that we talked about earlier. If they just use the archive, which is great, they can just put stuff up there and the community can find it. Through our system, they have the other benefits of being able to have the citations and the proof of existence.
And where do they go to find Artifacts AI?
They go to artifacts.ai, and that's where they'll find the site. They'll be able to learn more about what we're doing and what our plans are going forward. I would say that today we're launching, but really this is probably the first step in what we call Wave 1, and we have a pretty fairly robust vision for Wave 1, and there's actually another full Wave 2 coming that will involve the community even more.
Kevin, there's a lot of froth, there's a lot of think about blockchain, everybody's talking about it, but what creates the value proposition for your organization?
That's a great question, because there is a lot of hype out there right now. And for us, first and foremost, is that we wanted to build a solution utilizing blockchain that provided value back to the researcher. And what more valuable area than reputation, and then being able to get proper attribution for their creative works. So that's what we really centered everything that we're doing around. We tried to avoid what we call, and the miracle happens here, which is a lot of solutions out there that are proposing blockchain in our space really requires that the entire world be turned upside down, for everybody to abandon their current approaches, their current workflow. And frankly, we said, no, we have to work with the existing workflow for the researchers and for all the other participants in the researcher ecosystem. So we built what we really believe is a dynamic, innovative, and kind of breakthrough approach using blockchain, but it works within the existing workflow. We think it has much, much more potential, but I think that allows adoption. The final thing we did was we talked to folks a lot who wanted us to get out there and to be telling them about what we're doing. And we held off on that, and we decided to stay back at the shop and actually build something. And that's why we're launching today. And I think that's what's incredible about this is we actually have something that people can go to our site today and start interacting with.
Well, it's fascinating. It'll be very interesting to watch as this goes, because we really do need a centralized place in the population health field to find our data. So,
and to get specifically to that archive, it's pophealth.discoverresearch.ai.
excellent. Well, there you have it. The Artifacts AI company talking about their launch of their product here at the Population Health Colloquium.